Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome to the Christian Whistleblower channel. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. So glad to have you with us here today. And we have a very special guest today, the conspiracy music guru. Somebody said, well, who's the conspiracy music guru and what does he do? Well, let's try to show you right from the beginning who he is and what he does. And here's a brief sample, if I can get over there, of what he does.
The Flat Earth Man album is out right now.
Oh, that's just faking everything that you have ever seen.
Do you still believe we went to the moon? Do you still believe what they're telling you? All you're watching is a puppet show. Yeah, the whole world's a stage.
Don't believe in gravity.
Ain't no photographs or earth. Somebody tell me why.
Welcome to the satellite folks. Just another one of them NASA jokes. Don't let them take your mind.
Don't let them take your mind, man.
There's no such thing as outer space. We made it all up. Yeah, space is fake.
Oh, I don't want to talk about NASA ever again. The Flat Earth Man album is out now. I always wanted to be an astronaut.
So I guess you decided that you're not going to be able to be an astronaut. Is that right?
It still makes me laugh when I see those videos. It's just they're just so humorous, and I'm really proud of that work. I really am.
Well, I've got to tell you, I think that with all of the emotion and all of the passion that is involved in the debate about what shape is our Earth, what shape is the planet that we're living on, I think it's genius, and really nothing short of genius, to inject some humor, to inject some levity, and to get us all in a place where, I've spent 20 years as a preacher, and I found out that you can say a lot of hard things to people with a great deal of receptivity from them if you can make them laugh a little bit first. And I think that you've really hit on a much needed niche in our genre, and I salute you for doing it.
Thanks, man. Yeah. People seem to learn better, don't they, when there's humor involved, and the music that I've created and the videos that go along with it, they're like, it's like an onion, isn't it? Depending on your understanding, you can not be conspiratorially minded whatsoever, and you can still enjoy the videos and you can still get something out of them. Or
Absolutely.
You can be a researcher and know that the globe is a lie and take more from it. It depends on your level of understanding. And the beautiful thing with the music is, you can't necessarily get somebody to sit down and watch a 2-hour documentary on the globe lie or whatever. It's something from Eric Dubay or Mark Sargent or journalism, whatever. But you can forward one of my 6-minute songs to somebody who hasn't looked into this song, these subjects, and just say, have a listen to this guy, he's crazy, and hope that the music sows a seed. And it seems to be doing that. I mean, the album that I created, which is this one right here,
the Flat Earth Man.
I refer to that as a bag of seeds because that's what it seems to be doing. People purchasing the album or sharing it around, and I'm getting reports back from people saying, you know what, your song really helped my buddy wake up to the moon landing hoax just from your one song. And I get comments saying, thank you so much. Your music really helped me with this. Or I have mothers messaging me saying, I use your music to teach my children about NASA.
Look at this, right on cue.
So it's fantastic that the
Schoolhouse Rock Next Generation, says Terry Electra. Were you familiar with Schoolhouse Rock?
I'm familiar with the movie School of Rock.
No, that's a U.S. thing. It was like a Sesame Street, only it was these little cartoon things, and they would sing songs about stuff. So that's a high compliment.
Well, great. That's exactly what I'm doing. And the music seems to be sowing a lot of seeds and opening minds. It's it's more than music. It's a lot of fun. They're very catchy songs. They're cleverly written. They sow seeds. It's conscious music, and no one's doing that. And when you put the videos together with it and add a bit of sense of humor, and you've just saw a snippet there, but I've put myself in all sorts of different positions to make those videos. I mean, I've literally bent over backwards to make those videos. How do you think I get my hair to go like this in some of the gravity? I'm actually filming it upside down, so a lot of fun to make, an awful lot of work. But when I look back at the videos, I just think, wow, that's it still makes me laugh. So I hope it's doing the same to others.
Yeah. And it's funny. And there's so much passion on this. And, we're so indoctrinated. And I've recently, and I'm talking about this too much, but you've got the didactic way of teaching, which is I'm the teacher, you listen to me. And then there's the dialectic way, which is I've got my beliefs, you've got your beliefs. Let's debate them, let's discuss them, and come to some type of a synthesis. But I just had to block somebody in the chat room because they keep coming on with Jeff went full flat earth. Number one, that isn't true. Jeff is researching, Jeff is looking, Jeff is hearing from information on all sides. I want guys that say that flat earth is wrong. I want guys that say flat earth is right. And I want us to be able to talk about and synthesize. And I was reading a book today by, it's James True. It's called The Technology of Belief. And I just shared this in private before it came on, but he said something. I hope I can find it again. He said, I'm not here to tell you the shape of your world. I'm here to show you how to think about it. Me, I would just say I'm here to try to get you to think about it. And the beautiful thing about flat earth, whether you don't believe in flat earth or you do, is that if you can step outside of a paradigm as powerful as we live on a globe and everybody knows it, then you've developed skills to be able to think about uncomfortable. You're like Aristotle said, the true open mind, the true smart person is a person that can hold an idea in their mind and consider it without having to believe it 100%. And we really are trying to help people unindoctrinate themselves.
Yeah, I mean, if you can change your mind when presented with evidence that that contradicts your belief, then that's the mark of intelligence, isn't it?
It really is. And I think even more so, if you can hold competing ideas in your mind simultaneously and work them out, I think it breeds mental elasticity and actually makes you a much better thinker and a much better person.
As soon as you start opening your mind to these concepts, you know, everything's on the table as well. And it is really enlightenment. I think, you know, 2020 vision, there might be something in that year. People are starting to wake up to these huge deceptions that are run by these huge corporations that have a huge budget and a huge interest in controlling the masses. And it is, you know, as far as I'm concerned, like it's, as the T-shirt says, NASA just fake it. It's all mind control as far as I'm concerned.
It is. It really is. And, you know, obviously, you know, you talked a little bit about this with me privately before we went on, but what was, you know, back up past flat earth, what was your, let's say, wake up moment where you realized things are not like they're telling us, they're lying to us, and I've got to start looking more deeply into what I'm being told and what I'm being sold?
Well, up to about 2012, I just thought, you know, governments and organizations were just doing the best they could. The world wasn't perfect, but, you know, they're just doing the best they could. Politics must be difficult. It is hard. It's a broken system, blah, blah, blah. And that was my mindset up to 2012. And then, like a lot of people, 2001 at the 9/11, I started looking at that. In fact, a guy came into my studio and showed me a video or two, and he showed me the video of the plane, supposed plane hitting the Pentagon, which we got about 2 or 3 frames, and it looked like a missile, and it certainly didn't look. And I was like, and I'd never seen anything conspiratorial like that. I was like, hold on, that doesn't make sense. So I started that was the trigger. That was the straw that broke the camel's back, or if you like, that's what tipped me over the edge. I kind of started questioning, and then I looked deeper and deeper into that narrative and stumbled across people like Alex Jones. And then it was mind blowing to me that the system wasn't broken. It was designed that way. And that was when I really first sort of came across the evil, the good and evil mindset, knowing what evil was and how it was being perpetrated and propagated. And that was like that. As soon as I understood, right now I know why everything sucks. Now I know why life is so tough, so difficult, because it's designed that way. And then I got the bug and started to research everything conspiratorial, everything with New World Order or Illuminati or these kinds of things in the title, and stumbled across people like David Icke. And I just went through that whole process of understanding that pretty much everything that I thought was true is a lie. And eventually, if you dig deep enough and go deep enough down that rabbit hole, you get to, you know, things like the moon landing, and then the globe deception and these kinds of concepts. And then you make an album about it, which I had no idea I was going to do that, but it gave me such a creative burst when I came across, you know, these subjects like satellites not being what we're told, that they're just on balloons, and gravity not being what we're told, you know, and the moon. All of these kind of concepts was just blowing me away. Literally, this album is is a product of my research into that area. It just gave me a huge creative burst, and an album popped out of me. It's fantastic.
Tell us how we can get that album if we want it.
Well, if you can remember 3 words, Conspiracy Music Guru, and you can type that into iTunes or YouTube on my website, conspiracymusicguru.com, Amazon, Google, Spotify, 3 words, Conspiracy Music Guru, and you will find this album. And it's a great seed sower, I've found.
So you've obviously been into music longer than you've been into thinking like this.
Yeah, I started playing the piano when I was about 4 years old. I come from a musical family. My father was a musician. So there was always a piano in the house. So I started tinkling on the ivories very young. Fast forward to when I was about 20 years old, picked up the guitar because it looked so cool and I thought I could get more girls with it. Picked up the guitar.
And you did, I'm sure.
And I did, yeah, and I did. I picked up the guitar and it was really cool and I did get a lot of girls. And I started DJing. I was a karaoke compere. I've made ringtones, and so music's been a massive part of my life for forever. And now, I've been doing it for 40 years, and now I have a little studio, my little creative space, 10 guitars, a keyboard, and what I've amassed over my life, and I couldn't be happier.
Isn't that great when that happens and you get to that place? Tell us how the Conspiracy Music Guru was born. You've got a great YouTube channel under that same name. You've got the website under that same name. You've got the album that people can purchase. The album's called The Flat Earth Man?
Yeah, one album's called The Flat Earth Man. Another album, this is called True Solfeggio, which I've just released. That's another concept.
Oh, okay.
It's music in 432 hertz using solfeggio healing frequencies. And
absolutely.
Yeah, it's a different concept, but the feedback I got off of that was incredible. But coming to Conspiracy Music Guru was when I first started researching the flat Earth subject, and I brought it up to a friend of mine, and I said, "Dude, have you ever looked into flat Earth? NASA's full of it. I'm sure that all these photos are fake." And he was like, "No, that'd be stupid. We've got photos, we've got videos, blah blah blah." And I just remember thinking, because it really moved me, and I really wanted to, but I didn't have I couldn't articulate it at that point.
When did you first hear about it?
2016 was when
Was it a video? Did somebody tell you what happened?
Yeah, it was. I came across Mark Sargent's Flat Earth Clues, but it wasn't called Flat Earth Clues. Flat Earth videos were coming up in my feed, but of course I was dismissing them because that was nonsense to me at that time. What's this flat Earth stuff coming up in my feed? Well, I wouldn't click on it, but this video happened to be called "They Are Hiding God with the Biggest Secret" or something like that. And I thought, oh, that's intriguing. And I clicked on it, and that was Mark Sargent's Flat Earth Clues. And when I started that whole year 2016, I was on the whole flat Earth research, and I wanted to put it into music. Got into the studio. I wrote a song. I can't pick up my guitar. I wrote a song called The Flat Earth Man, which was about the meeting I had with my buddy, trying to convince him, dude, you need to look at the flat Earth. I think the Earth is flat. So I wrote the song The Flat Earth Man, which started, I met a man the other day who thought the Earth was flat.
I remember.
So I started to try and sing a song, but when I put that voice into it, it was like telling a story. And that deep voice, it was like country and music genre. It's country and music. Country and Western music is a great genre for telling a story.
It's the perfect.
So when I got into the studio and I picked the guitar, I was like,
"Well, I met a man the other day who thought the Earth was flat." I said, "Man, you must be crazy. Where the hell's your tinfoil hat?"
And this song and this sound came out. I thought that sounds really cool, And then I thought, well, I'm going to put the video out. What shall I call myself? Well, I know a bit about conspiracy. I like conspiracy music. I just thought guru because guru is a nice word. It means to teach. It also means to bring lightness into the dark in Sanskrit. And I thought, oh, that's nice. Conspiracy music guru. It's a bit of a mouthful now. If I could, go back and change it, I probably would. But I had no idea that this first song would lead to a second, to a third, to a fourth, to an album, to a second album, to a YouTube channel. No idea at all. But that's the name, and that's why it happened.
That's beautiful. And, just as to talk about, you've come to the place where you are at a place of doing what, you feel like you're meant to be doing, and you're, at least able to generate some type of an income from it. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are musically inclined. As a musician, what would you say to the person that's struggling? Everybody's looking for that break. One of my good friends is, Chris Jericho. He's the lead singer for Fozzy, and he went through all that. But I think it's a dream, because I asked Chris, I was with him the other day, actually a couple months ago in Dallas, and I asked him, what did you want to be when you grew up? And he said, when I grew up, I wanted to be a rock and roller and a wrestler. And now he's risen to the top of both of those. What would you say is the power of dreams and the power of having like a great basic purpose or a quote unquote calling on your life?
Well, if you want to pursue music as a career, it's tough. It's really, really, really tough, and you're going to hear that over and over again. Or, I mean, you can sell your soul to the devil if you want, no problem, you know. And you can become rich and famous, and you can have all of the trinkets, and you can be famous, and you can do all of that, no problem. Doing it the other way, being an independent musician, that's much, much, much tougher. I would say, you know, try to learn and do as much as you can yourself. I didn't pick up the guitar till I was 20. But you know, try to learn some things on the piano, try to learn stuff on the guitar, try to sing, learn how to produce music with a digital audio workstation, learn about harmonies. There's so much stuff on YouTube, so many tutorials about how to play the guitar, how to play the piano, how to record vocals, how to make them sound good. All of these things, try and do as much as you can yourself. Create a following as well. You know, you just record everything you do. And it's really, really hard work. You've got to keep at it and keep at it and keep at it and keep at it and keep at it. Once you do that and you put that kind of hard work in, rather than just sell your soul and you're instantly on stage and rich and famous, it's much more satisfying. It's a lot harder, but it's a lot more satisfying. And to be doing something that you love every single day, you haven't got to work a day in your life. I come in here every single day and I forget to eat. I forget what time it is. I'm just lost, completely lost. And to be able to have that is such a gift. But it hasn't come without, you know, doing those gigs in the pubs time and after again, and you know, drunken people falling all over my equipment and nobody listening, or everybody's watching the game. You know, I did my apprenticeship in the bars and the clubs, and it was tough. But if you want to do this for a living, that's what you got to do.
It's so funny. I giggle. I'm not a musician. I don't even play the radio well, but you know, I do dabble at stand-up comedy, and there's been times where, you know, you do the same thing. You start out at open mics, and it's in the corner of a bar, and everybody's cheering at the game, and there's like 6 people there. They're comedians. They're not going to laugh at your jokes, and you've got to work your way up. And then, you know, you get inspired by, like, my good buddy. He has the Tinfoil Hat podcast. You should check him out. His name is Sam Tripoli, and that's how I wound up.
I know that guy. I know those guys. Yeah.
Locked in a room with Eddie Bravo and Sam for 3 hours, and it was great. And it's just, once you're doing what you know you're supposed to be doing, it's just like you said, you're never working a day in your life. And you do get a lot of haters, and you get a lot of people throwing barbs your way. But the people that don't ever try are really good about sitting on the sidelines and telling you everything that you're doing wrong. But don't listen to those people. Get out there and make the mistakes and keep going and keep growing. And as Conspiracy Music Guru channel, your album, and things start to grow, what is your purpose in being there? What are you trying to do with your channel and with your music?
Well, my purpose, I feel I have a purpose now. That's the wonderful thing since I started doing this music. You know, I put my first song out there, not expecting to make an album, but I made an album, and I went to perform, and I performed most of the songs off that album at the Flat Earth International Conference in Denver in 2018. And when I got there, the response that I had with, you know, people wanting to take their photographs with me, and signing CDs, and people telling me how much they love my music, and they use my music to teach their children, and they use my music to wake up their friends. And then I could see this was being used as a tool, and it was not just a hobby anymore for me. It was like, wow, this is what I need to be doing. This is my purpose. I need to be making more of this music and putting as much information in there as possible to help wake people up, to give them as much information as possible. And, you know, moving on to this second album, which is called True Solfeggio, doing my research into the 432 Hertz versus 440 conspiracy, I found some very compelling information.
That's powerful.
It's very, very powerful. But to cut a long story short, this is another product of my research into that area. And so I'm also making healing music, and with this has got embedded frequencies in from the True Solfeggio Ancient Healing.
So that's not comedic at all. That's straight up healing music.
Straight up instrumental music. There's no healing music out there that had the structure of music. There was healing, but like Tibetan singing bowls,
right,
and just all these kind of things that were just kind of monotonous, literally monotonous, monotone. But there was no music out there that had an intro, a verse, a bridge, a chorus, and an outro, nothing like that. So it's very chilled, very laid back instrumental music using these solfeggio healing frequencies.
That's a brilliant idea. I don't know if that's been done before.
It's not, unless it's what I like to be the first to do these things. And I put this out there, And the response I got was quite incredible. I did my own scientific experiment, if you like. I made the music and I put it out there, and I've sold maybe a couple of thousand of these now, and I get feedback every day saying, my God, it just brought chills to my, I had chills up and down my spine. Some guy emailed me, said, your music helps to lift my anxiety. Another guy's using it to help his plants grow. He said, my plants love it. Another guy said his pets are calm when he puts it on. And I've had all of these things. It helps my baby to sleep, all of these kind of things. So there's really something about this 432 hertz. And I'm going to continue down that road with another album similar to that, which I'm working on now. But yeah, so my purpose is healing music and music that informs conscious music, really. We are so starved of decent music in our society. The music that we have now is not only in 440 hertz, but it's also been compressed in the name of convenience, ripping the soul out of the music. So, if you were to buy this CD, it's in 432. It's not been compressed, So the music that we have these days is just dreadful. It's absolutely dreadful. So I do think there's a war on consciousness, and I do think they're using music and frequency as a tool. So my purpose is to do more music like this.
Absolutely. And just a kind of a bug in the ear thing about 432. I was 20 years a preacher, still working with people and what they call exorcism. I don't call it that, but I've found that, like, if someone says, oh, Jeff, can you come to, I'm in the middle of the country, can you come to Singapore and do an exorcism? Well, probably not. But if someone will play 432 music or have a charm or something that is, I work with a guy called Halo Marquise. He does this jewelry that I wear, and it's imprinted with frequencies. If you can imprint a 432 frequency on a bracelet or a necklace, or if you'll play 432 music, it's my observation, and it's now years and years of field observation, that 432 also seems to chase away or entities that are imbalanced that cause the harm, the fear, the fright, won't stay in it.
Wow, that's amazing. And I'm going to cut that bit that you just said, and I'm going to put it in a future presentation that I'm going to be doing about 432 hertz.
Right. And plus, I'm sure you did this. When you were talking about the 432 versus 440, you went back into the McCartney and the Beatles whole thing with that, didn't you?
I didn't, no.
Oh, I mean, are you aware of that?
As far as I'm aware, the Beatles and all modern music is recording in 440 hertz. I mean, there's a lot to be said about the Beatles, incredibly occultic band.
Right.
But
I was with Chris Jericho, and we were talking about this, and I think it's pretty much proven. And I'm trying to remember there's a musicologist, I can't remember his name right now, Brian something, but he contends that up until Sgt. Pepper's, the Beatles were recording in 432, and with Sgt. Pepper, they switched to 440.
Well, I can certainly test that. I mean, I've got
Please
432.
give me an email back, and maybe we can even talk about that on another show. But that's been my understanding, and that kind of resonated with Chris Jericho. He's got Talk is Jericho. He's on the All Elite Wrestling. He's the champion. Fozzy, lead singer for Fozzy, great guy. And we did a show about Elvis, and of course Paul snuck in there too. And it's just fascinating if that's true that they went from 432 to 440. Then we've got another real conspiracy for you. Conspiracy.
Well, I mean, I know for a fact that it was. There's definitely a song there, eh? I know for a fact that the standard, the tuning standard, was changed in 1955 as an international tuning standard. So the Beatles were after that, weren't they? So I would assume that they would just go.
What about 10 years after or so?
Yeah. But just going back to what you were saying about. Going back to what you were saying about the whole spiritual aspect of the 432 hertz, that's amazing. I mean, if you can give me a quote about that, I mean, what I have found on my research is that Tibetan monks, for instance, will have learned to sing this very, very low note. They call it a one voice chord, and it's like and the reason it's so low is it's resonating at this frequency and producing harmonics as well. So it's like they call it a chord. So there's all these different harmonics happening when they do this low voice, and it helps them to achieve altered states and to maybe get in contact with the divine, if you like. And when I played these monks, they're called the Guyomi monks, and I recorded it and I played it back and I got my tuner, and sure enough, it's in 432 hertz.
How about that?
Also, the Aborigines, they used the didgeridoo, and it is said that they used the didgeridoo and its harmonics to enter the dreams time, which again is an altered state and accessing the spiritual plane, if you like. I then went to YouTube, listened to a didgeridoo, recorded it, played it back, and sure enough, it's in 432 hertz as well. So how about that? So it seems that 432 hertz and its associated mathematical harmonics can lead you to altered states of consciousness. So maybe the 440 was introduced to separate us from the divine.
Have you ever done any research on the hue sound and if it's at 432 or not?
The hue sound. What do you mean the hue?
Yeah, I was on Coast to Coast AM one time, and then this guy called me up who's I don't know, he does something with music. I don't know if he's I think he's more of an academic about music, and he said that he found that if he would produce this sound called the hue, and it's a meditation thing. I'll try to do it, but I don't have much of a, you know,
I think
singing.
I'm aware of what you're talking about. I mean, the vowel sound.
It's like hue. Yeah. If you do it right, it vibrates up in here. And
exactly,
when Neil and I were working on this, we found out that's 432, and that hue is what would, for lack of a better term, scare off demons. We don't think they're demons, but it, you know, to contextualize ourselves, what people are thinking. So we took that hue frequency, 432, and imprinted it on first a necklace. And when I couldn't go help people, I'd send them this necklace, and they're saying, "Oh yeah, they leave me alone now," which is amazing.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah, the vowel sounds, the oohs and the ahs, and these are the sounds that create the harmonics.
Right.
I think the consonants are just chucked in to form, you know, cohesive, I guess, and spelling, I suppose. But this is why you will hear the monks chanting with these why. You know, you can hear these harmonics that are produced. If you listen very, very carefully, everything has its harmonic. It has its harmonic frequencies as well. So yeah, these hue sounds, a hue or the ah, the e's, and you know, you'll hear that in a lot of chanting, and it's because of the power of the harmonics. These harmonics seem to be some kind of healing frequency and access to the divine. So far is what I understand.
And you know, I wonder, we're talking about flat Earth, round Earth, and how much effect, you know, as a musician, how much effect would the shape of a body have to do with frequency or resonance? Would it have a big to do about it?
Well, you've got the Schumann resonance, the Schumann resonance, which is set to be sort of 7.8 hertz, which is very low. It's an inaudible to the human ear, and apparently increasing. Now, there's a fantastic video you can see online with a guy, he's got a speaker, like a round disc, like, oh, I don't know, the flat Earth, with a bubble over the top. He's actually put a bubble, like a liquid bubble over the top, and plays music through it. And you can see the bubble starts to move, and it's like, it's identical to weather patterns. Now, what I suggest is
amazing.
So what I'm suggesting is, if the Earth is a flat plane and it's emitting this Schumann resonance, maybe this Schumann resonance is responsible for the patterns, like cymatic patterns. When you see music played through water, it creates patterns. So maybe this Schumann resonance is creating the tides, creating the weather patterns, and it's all frequency.
Ooh, and maybe it's not the moon that's creating our tides.
No, there's no way. It's definitely not the moon that's creating our tides.
Think about that. That's amazing. If the Earth, and you know, the original Schumann resonance is about 7.83, and we keep circling back, but the Mistec jewelry is set to 7.83 to give you the original resonance of the ideal resonance of the Earth. And if that ideal resonance is putting up, you know, ideally gives us the right weather patterns, and now who knows why, but it's spiking up and down, and we're seeing weather going crazy. I wonder if there's a connection.
I think there is. We've just had a storm here called Gloria, and when they start naming a storm, you know it's going to be big. And we're in Spain. So we don't get a lot of that. So yeah, it's crazy. Look at all the fire. Look at this. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that all this is controlled. I mean, you only have to do a little bit of research and go back to, I don't know, Operation, was it called Operation Orange? Was it? I think, I can't remember. Any cloud seeding and all of these chemtrails and everything. It's all weather modification. And if you don't believe me, go to weathermodification.com. There'll be your proof.
Yeah. How do we get beyond the whatever side we're on? If we really want to have understanding, how do we get beyond the you're a globe-tard, you're a flathead? How do we get beyond that to where we can really discuss? Because let's face it, our genre, people that want to know the truth, people that are checking out of the dominant paradigm, there's not many of us. And I think we do a disservice to ourselves and to humanity if those of us that are have woke up to, so to speak, to see that everything's a lie, we've got to find a way not to balkanize ourselves, not to divide ourselves into other groups that won't talk to each other. How can we bridge that gap? Your music might be a great way. Owen Benjamin using comedy, Sam Tripoli, Eddie Bravo using comedy. Maybe it is the creative arts. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, all of us that have woken up to this are all contributing and trying to do something to wake others. But unfortunately, there will always be others that will never be woke. Da Vinci said it best. There are those that see when they are shown, and those that do not see. And there will always be those that do not see that are out there. So we can do our best. I mean, we just have to use the skills that we have. I'm a musician. That's how I'm going to do it. Owen Benjamin is a comedian. That's how he's reaching people. This is my contribution. It's all I know how to do. So if people just utilize their skills and do whatever they can to spread the message, but you will get some kickback. But if you use comedy, you won't get so much kickback. I rarely get any hate on my channels because I'm doing it in such a humorous way. It's very harmless. But of course, we know there's a lot more truth to my lyrics than what first appears if you research it. So I'm just using the skills that I've got, and I don't really try and mix with the great outdoors. If I just prefer my creative space. I don't go out there on the streets preaching and trying to do my activism that way, because I can't think of anything worse because of these people that you come up against that you just, you're banging your head on a brick wall. That's why I wrote the song I Don't Want to Talk About NASA, because it was just so frustrating to me.
4 of you, right?
Sorry?
There was 4 of you in that song?
There was 4 of me. That was a difficult one to film, but that was inspired by going out there and trying to talk to some friends about these deceptions, and they just, this brick wall went up, and in fact the conversation got really quite ugly, and it was just, I went home like, I'm never going to talk about that again. It was just such a good exercise. So I wrote that song, and now I know not to just to hold your tongue really, and choose your audience wisely, but there will always be those that will never get it, sadly.
Let me throw a curveball to you. I spent 20 years as an Assemblies of God minister, very hardcore American Protestant Pentecostal, thank you, Jesus, healing, casting out devils, the whole 9 yards. Did you ever see the movie Leap of Faith with Steve Martin?
No, I don't recall it.
Well, do you remember Jimmy Swaggart?
No, these are Americanisms, aren't they? I think.
And I found out, at least to my beliefs, I'm a Bible college graduate, I started seeing cracks in the foundation of Christianity, that there's really 2 different teachings in the Bible, one of this guy named Jesus, one of this guy named Paul, and really Christianity should be called Pollyanity. I'm taking a real long way to get to this, but my fear is that if the flat earth is the truth, the flat earth cannot afford to become overly dependent upon the Bible, because the Bible is going to be proved unreliable sooner rather than later. Great that we believe in God, but let's not let it get connected to just the Bible. I think that's a mistake. What do you think about that?
I think, all these ancient peoples, you got the Egyptians and the Navajo and the Vedics and all of these cultures. All of that. I mean, if you type it into flat Earth cultures and things like that, you'll find 10 or 20 different ancient cultures that all had this symbology of a flat Earth with a firmament over the top. So not just Christianity; it's in all religions. So that should be a huge red flag. That should be a huge eye opener, I think.
I agree 100%. The frustration that I have as I'm studying flat earth, round earth, I think I'm out on the earth going around the sun, which is, I guess, the definition of heliocentrism. I'm out on that. I don't see how it can happen if it's speeding up and slowing down. It would cause tidal waves. It would wreck the whole place. I'm not where I would be a flat earther, but I am a globe questioner at this point. But my problem is that a lot of times people that are flat have come to the realization of flat earth. Oh, it's really not a ball. I've been lied to, but they won't apply that same logic to the scriptures. The scriptures are the scriptures. The Bible's the Bible. It's the word of God. We can't question it. But wait a minute. Science said that the earth is a globe, and we can't question that either. I think we need to take the next step if we are a flat earth enthusiast and apply the same logic that we applied to science, apply that same logic and objectivity to Christianity and the Bible as a document. I think that will help us all as people and as a genre. Any thoughts on that?
We'll question everything, right? Even the Bible says that.
You can't question the Bible. Everything but the Bible. Look at Alex Jones. Everything. The frogs are gay, but he can't question the Bible. Come on, man. Why is the Bible in an off-limit zone that it can't be questioned and it can't be studied and it can't be broken down? We know that it was written, edited, vetted. It was at least edited, vetted, and approved by the Roman Empire because they were the dominant force that Israel was under Roman military rule, and there was a censor. It's where we get our word censorship. They read every word of it and said, yeah, it's okay. You go down to your ancestors over there in the UK, King James 1600 says, hey, I want to do a little tweak on the Bible. Let's make sure we got the divine right of kings. You had that whole fiasco. Christians, flat earthers are against a one world government, a new world order. But the Bible, objectively, empirically, is the product of not one, but two one world governments, not one, but two new world orders. So I'm just saying we need to examine it.
Yeah, we need to examine everything. And that's thankfully what I'm blessed with a critical mind, and I look at everything and I don't, this is what I do. Anything that I see, anything that I hear, I'm skeptical about everything. And it's just got me to the point now where I look out the window and I think, and it's depressing. It's such a sad, sad, sad world, what's going on out there, which is why I take solace in my studio and put it all into music. That's all I can really do creatively. But yeah, I do question everything, and the music that's going to be coming out of me in the future is going to be questioning more things, about the weather and maybe vaccines or 5G and all these other things, these smart cities, Agenda 21. There's so much fodder for new music. I'm never going to have writer's block. There's always going to be something to write about because it is such a sad state the world is in. So yeah, I'm critically minded about everything. I question everything. And I just sit in here and put it into music.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we should do. Remain open, be critically minded, and question everything. I always say, ask questions and question answers. And you know what? We can get rich today because there's a guy called Flat Earth Fantasy in the chat room right now. I'll put it up on the screen. He says that he's offering $9 billion for flat earth proof. You'd think flat earthers would be all of them, but so far zero. Well, first of all, Flat Earth Fantasy, I can guarantee you don't have $9 billion to offer. So when you got it, when you show me the money, maybe Flat Earth Guru and Eddie Bravo and a few of us and David and Matt will get together and we can split that $9 billion up in a few ways, my friend.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's a guy on YouTube called Flat Earth Millionaire, and he's got the money and he's offering $100,000. You can look this up, and he's actually gone to the bank, he's taken it out, and he actually got a withdrawal check because you can't take that amount of money out, but he's taken it out, he's proved that he's got it. It's called Flat Earth Millionaire, and he's offering $100,000 for proof of a globe. Go look that up.
All these, it all goes back to look at the pictures we've got, but we know NASA admits that those aren't really pictures. And with all the stuff that's supposed to be flying around up there, why can't they give us just one picture of Earth? No astronaut's taking a selfie of himself or herself through the window with Earth in the background. Come on.
I saw one of the best NASA fails recently. Someone forwarded me a video, and it was a 360-degree camera. So it was the astronauts floating around doing absolutely nothing. And there's one scene in it, I think it's about 1 minute and 20 in, where the astronaut goes closer to the camera and he meets the green screen layer. So cuts off half of his helmet so you can see it was a tremendous fail. And then we just keep seeing these fails over and over and over and over and over again. It's just, NASA's a joke, man.
One of the best ones I saw, if David from Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole did the video. I think he might have pulled it from Owen or somebody, but it's the whole... the Red Bull guy up there jumping off that platform in space, and they show him outside, and they've got the GoPro, and of course it has the fisheye lens, and it's very, very round. But there's one shot from him from inside the capsule walking out,
and it's flat.
And it's flat as a freaking pancake.
There's the mainstream put a lovely video, a lovely image out as well, saying students captured breathtaking photograph of Earth's curve from space. But right to the right of the lens, there's a rope that's obviously holding the balloon up, and the rope is as curved as the Earth. So you've got this rope doing this curve vertically, and of course the Earth's doing the curve horizontally when it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. We've sent balloons up and without a fisheye lens, and it's flat.
It's still where I'm at. It's still hard to say. And I remember this. It's so funny. This just hit me. I remember when I was coming out of Christianity, and I'm thinking, who am I? You know, Billy Graham, Jimmy Swaggart, all these great minds. They believe the Bible is 100% true. Who are you to question? I know you think you found proof that it's wrong. I know that you think you found proof that it's got contradictions, but who are you to question these brilliant people? And the same argument often comes in to people when they're looking at whether the heliocentric model is true or not.
Well, all you've got to do is just start looking, haven't you? If you've got any doubt whatsoever, don't believe me, I could be a raving lunatic. Just go and do your own research. That is so important for you to go and look for yourself. Don't believe anyone out there. Don't believe even the people that are doing the tests. They could be manipulating those tests. Go and do tests yourself. Go and research yourself. Be open-minded. Be a critical thinker, and you'll find the truth. If you really want the truth, you'll find it.
Yep. Steady Eddie asked an interesting question. He says it's round, but it's probably just really, really, really big. The only reason to assume that it's really, really, really big, that's why we can't see the curve. You're really assuming that it is curved. Whereas I think the researcher would say, we're not sure if it's curved or round, but if you apply Occam's razor, the thing that requires the least amount of changes, the least amount of explanations, if it looks flat, and it always looks flat, and we've never seen it with our own eyes anything but flat, it might be flat. Of course, it might not, but it might be flat. That's our observable reality, is that it's flat.
Well, water always finds its own level, and there's so many we see too far proofs. You know, we're seeing way further than we should. A good phrase is the technology that we have now has outgrown their lies. So we're using cameras with very high zoom lenses and seeing cities, and this, you know, the world record for the longest distant photography is about 200 to 300 kilometers. It's impossible on a globe, let alone the Chicago skyline across Michigan Bay or whatever it is at 50, 60 miles, being able to see that. But of course, the globeheads will tell you, oh no, that's a holographic projection coming from the other side of a supposed curve. You know, just lifting the city up perfectly to line up with the lens. It's just, no, I see a city at 50 miles. You know, it's pretty simple.
It's funny you hit on the thing about Earth always finds or water always finds its level. That's true. That's undeniable. And then I'm thinking one day on this whole thing about, I don't want to become a crazy flat earther. I shouldn't even think about this. But then the thought hit me. They say that 70% of the Earth is water. And water always finds its level. So if 70% of the Earth, how much of it has to be level before we say it's all level?
There you go. There you go. It's all being contained, isn't it? It's just, I don't know, but you're going to get people shouting gravity in the chat, gravity, an unproven theory and nonsense. But yeah, you just open your mind, people. There's truth inside.
Talk about gravity.
Huh? Yeah, no, I did make a song about that. Yeah, don't believe in gravity. It's a great song.
How did that voice just come to you, or was it something you planned?
No, I mean, I sell ringtones as well. This is one of my little, this is one of my bread and butters, selling ringtones. When you sell a ringtone, you have to be humorous, and you have to do voices and impressions and that kind of thing, and make nice little melodies, little 30-second clips of music. So I do all sorts of different voices. So just that voice came out when I wrote my first Flat Earth song, and it just sounded cool. And when I put it out there, people wanted more. So I made a second song, a third song. Before I know it, I've got a whole album doing this voice, kind of like that, man. And then I never expected to put an album of a guy talking like this, man, telling you about NASA's foolish, you know, all that.
Can you do Donald Trump?
No, I've not even tried.
I'm pretty good with voices, but Trump is a hard one.
Yeah, I wouldn't know how to start with that.
Personality.
Yeah, no, thank you. It would offend me greatly if I started doing that, I think.
Well, you did a fairly decent Barack Obama. That didn't offend you.
Yeah, well, yeah. We don't have time for we don't have time for a meeting with the Flat Earth Society. Yeah. Oh man, they're all. I just see through those puppets now. I really do. I used to think they were world leaders. Now I know different.
And this bothers me. It really shouldn't. Can you see these comments that I'm putting up?
Throw a wet tennis ball. How's that water? Oh my God. Yeah.
That long on, you know, what's he called? Woketown. And he was,
hold on. I think no, throw a wet tennis ball. How's that water reacting? Yeah, when you spin a ball, it flies off, right? So if you want a ball, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I asked him, you know, we both were in Florida and we lived in Florida, and I played tennis in Florida in the rain, and you hit that tennis ball and it's just an explosion of water. And, you know, if you put a really good spin on it, the spinning ball throws the water off. That's our observable reality.
Yes, it is.
But we're told that no, that's a ball. But if it's a really, really big ball, then it's different. And it's just hard for me to say. It's hard for me to say, okay, I know what you don't believe what you see. Trust us, we know.
It's a religion. That's why it's called the ball religion. You know, NASA is a religion. It's atheism, it's scientism, it's Satanism. This is what it is. This is mind control. I mean, Ron L. Hubbard, the Scientology with Xena, the God, and all of that. It's all science fiction. NASA is no different. I mean, look at NASA's founders. You've got occultists and Nazis. You know, it's
right in the time we get this. That's exactly what I mean.
A tennis ball doesn't
gravity.
There is no such thing as gravity. Don't believe in gravity. It's buoyancy and density and electromagnetism.
But I love the fact that you got people that would otherwise be watching Jerry Springer or watching porn or doing something else, but they're actually thinking about, what is this place we live in like? What is its makeup? Is it round? Is it flat? Are we being told the truth? Are we being lied to? If people will just start thinking objectively and independently for 5 minutes, then my work here is done. And that's why I like this genre. That's why I like this whole questioning, this globe skeptic genre, because I find a lot of thinkers in here. I don't find 100% objective empirical thinkers, but I find a lot of people here that are higher up on the objectivity scale than almost anywhere else. And I kind of like it. What's coming next from the conspiracy music guru?
Well, more of the same, I would say. I mean, as I said before, I feel it is my purpose now, my destiny, to put my truth into music. It might not be your truth. This truth might not resonate with you, but I just try and encourage people to do their own research, and I put that in the music. Do your research, people, and I think you'll find. I put that in there so many times, and I list names and things for you to research. I'm not saying believe me. Don't listen to the album and think, wow, he's definitely right, Ned. I want people to listen to the album and go, Robert Simmons, he mentioned that in one of the songs. Let's look up Robert Simmons and see if he is the creator of the famous Blue Marble, which he is. And I just like to sow these seeds. So it's my truth. I'm putting it into my music and putting it out there. I'm doing healing music as well, guitar instrumentals, which is the True Solfeggio album. I'm also working on a follow-up to that. I'm also working on an acoustic version of this one as well. So more of the same, basically. And more, I've done a song about chemtrails as well called Look Up, and just more conscious music, really. That's my purpose.
Absolutely. Tell us one more time where we can get in touch with all of your information. 3
words, Conspiracy Music Guru. You can go to YouTube and find my channel under those 3 words, Conspiracy Music Guru. If you want to listen to my music, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, all of the, you can't, all of the music platforms I'm on. If you want to take a look at my website, conspiracymusicguru.com, 3 words, Conspiracy Music Guru.
If you get a chance, will you please have a look at the Sgt. Pepper's Beatles music and see if it was 432 and shoot me an email?
Yeah. So if you shoot me an email with the album titles or the song names, I can look them up, and then I can find out instantly if they're in 432. Just give me a list of songs, and then I'll just go from one to the next, and I'll go yes, no, whatever. But it's pretty easy for me to do.
Perfect. Yeah. And depending on what we find, we might have to have another conversation about that.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Absolutely. He is a conspiracy music guru on YouTube. That's the URL for his webpage as well. Get your conspiracy music guru music. Get your Solfeggio music, and I have a feeling you're going to be hearing a lot more about the conspiracy music guru. And it's so important to me that we support one another within this genre. People that may not agree 100%. But yet we agree on wanting to unindoctrinate ourselves. go over to the Conspiracy Music Guru channel and subscribe to his channel. Show him some love, show him some support. And I think together we're better than separating ourselves. So let's bind our efforts together. Let's support one another. And I really appreciate you coming on the channel today. And, anytime you come up with some new stuff or interesting stuff, please feel free to reach out. I look forward to meeting you at a conference someday and shaking your hand and enjoying your company.
Likewise, man. Well, thanks for having me on. Thanks for the platform. It was an honor, and keep up the great work. Like you say, we're stronger together. And if we all do a little bit, we can start waking up a few people, can't we?
Absolutely. The whole idea is that we're divine, we're sovereign, we're free. We don't have original sin. We're filled with the spark of divinity within. And ladies and gentlemen, we need to guide our own spirits, be our own gurus, master our own ascensions. And at the end of the day, it's time for us to unindoctrinate ourselves. And we can do it if we'll just get busy. For the Conspiracy Music Guru, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Thank you for being with us, and we salute you for being here, seeking after truth.